more often because it's needed. There's not enough help out there. There's people that can sit there and say, well, those homeless people, you know, they need to use the resources that are out there. What people don't understand is that for a long, long, long time, those resources have been dwindling and are down to a thread. There is not enough help out there. We need it, and we need to draw attention to it, and we also need to not hide who we are when we're doing it. Because we give without asking. We give because it's the right thing to do. We don't more often because it's needed. There's not enough help out there. There's people that can sit there and say, well, those homeless people, you know, they need to use the resources that are out there. Those things is the right thing to do. What people don't understand is that for a long, long, long time, those resources have been dwindling.
There we go.
Just a few other things. You know, that's basically between the church-state separation and drawing attention to those things and working with organizations that focus on those things and our community service. That is a lot of what FACT does, but it's not all that we do. We do have, now that COVID is kind of starting to lift, you'll see some of our child-friendly social events. So in the past, we've done game nights, we've done just pool parties over the summer, dinners, guest speakers. There's a lot that we do. Just follow us. This year is going to be hopefully a really good year to really kind of get back in the swing of things. And I think the only other thing that I want to mention is, and I touched on it a little bit, but working with those organizations that have the same goals. We're already starting to do that again this year. Clara finally came in, she made it through the traffic. Her and I have been talking since last year, and you know, I'm thankful for Clara and the SSA for inviting me to come out and give this very unprofessional talk to you all. But that's who I am. I'm down to earth, and I fumble. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not a public speaker, but we go on. Working with other organizations that have those same goals. We're not just doing it with SSA. We have been in contact with leaders in Houston. Phil and I will be attending the American Atheist Convention next month, where we hope that we can really kind of like meet some of these people that we see online, and really kind of network, and those are the kinds of things that we're really, really focused on, kind of uniting the community as one, and not just, you know, the old saying with atheists is that it's like herding cats, but the one thing, and I'm sure Clara can probably testify to this as well, the one thing that we hear over and over and over and over again, not just before COVID, but even more so now, is that people just want that sense of community. I want to go and I want to hang out with somebody who thinks like me. I want to feel like I'm not alone, no matter whether it's a community service event and you're having fun and you got the radio playing and you're packing diapers and you're giving each other a hard time. You know, we have a good time when we go out. It's just really important to, you know, unite our community. Let's see, what do I have left for you? I encourage anybody to, if you're an out atheist and it's okay for you to be out, I encourage you to get involved in your local community. If you don't have a local community, there's things that you can do. You can volunteer your time, and if you can, you know, if you're financially able, you can donate. If you're physically able, you can volunteer. You can do work behind the scenes on social media and websites. Like, all the struggle with grassroots volunteer-run organizations is that there's never, you can never have too many volunteers. So if you want to get involved, whether it's in your local community or if you're somewhere out in the boonies and you don't have a local community, hit up an organization that you follow on social media, ask them if they need help, ask them how to start something in your own community, ask them how to get involved. There's so many resources out there, and so many ways that you can help spread the word that the days of just ruminating about how we're so alone and yes, of course, discriminated against, even though we're one of the fastest growing demographics. Get involved, get out there, do it. Don't wait. Don't wait. If you can do it, do it. So that's pretty much, I think I've covered everything. I'm open for questions really quickly. If you're interested in following everything that's going on this year, our Facebook and Twitter is Freethinkers of. Our website is freethinkersact.org. And our email is fact@freethinkersact.org. If you are not out and open and you still really want to know what we're doing, we have a private Facebook group called, I think it's just called Fact Facebook Group. So you can ask to join that. If you're not on social media, we do still pay for a meetup because it provides that anonymity, and it also allows us to screen for private events. And there's, sometimes members are generous to hold events at their house, and that may be the only place you see it. So if you are not out and you need that anonymity, it is a closed group that we still continue to pay for, and you can just go to Meetup and search Freethinkers Association of Central Texas, and you'll find us. So, upcoming volunteer, I'm not sure if we're doing a second Saturday. Normally at Haven for Hope, we do second Saturdays of the month. I'm not sure if we're doing one next month or not, but April 23rd, we are scheduled at the San Antonio Food Bank. If you volunteer for Haven for Hope, which is actually working in the food bank kitchen, the kitchen there that serves the residents at Haven for Hope is run by the San Antonio Food Bank. Do any of those volunteer events, please read the instructions carefully. You do need to go online and register with the San Antonio Food Bank. So, and those are again posted across all of our social media accounts and on our website. And then we started our book discussion again. So I believe that's every other month. The next one is Sunday, April 24th. And that is also another one where you need to register through Meetup. So if you want to get involved in book discussions or host a book discussion, that will run Meetup, because those are usually hosted at somebody's house. We're working on bringing back the social events and the speakers. We don't have anybody scheduled right at this time, but follow us closely. Might have some information soon. I mentioned we'll be at the American Atheist Convention next month, April 15th through 17th. And this is great for students, for students and locals, because you don't have to worry about paying the hotel cost. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, their convention will finally be here in October. That's the 28th through the 30th. It will be at the Hyatt Regency Riverwalk. Their theme is, because of all of the nonsense that's gone on in the Texas government lately, do mess with Texas, between women's rights and trans rights being attacked. Come at us, because there's a lot of organizations that are fighting these battles. So just follow us closely. We are working with FFRF to do some of the planning. So follow us closely. We have some stuff that we'll be announcing throughout this year leading up to the convention.
I do plan to take a group there.
I'm sorry?
I do plan to take a group there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Clara's going to take a group there. Yeah, and so like, you know, anybody out there, if anybody watching this who's older, who maybe can't drive and needs a ride, parking can be expensive. You know, we can collaborate ride shares online and through social media. So like this is and students, I believe, get a discounted ticket rate. So you don't have, you know, there's ways. Reach out to other locals. We can probably get you there if we need to get there, okay? So I am open. Jackie, did I cover everything? Jackie's here. Jackie is very involved with FACT. She's been involved with FACT for a while, so she's here to make sure I've covered everything and I'm not completely off my game.
I'm here so she can get free parking.
That too.
I think so.
I think we covered everything. Does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Were you visiting communities or did you?
No, I grew up in I grew up religious. I was baptized. I was confirmed. I will not say that my atheism hasn't come without its trials and tribulations in my interpersonal relationships. But I will say that mine pales in comparison to some of the stories I've heard. So I've been very fortunate. I've had some heartbreak. It's affected, like I said, it's affected some relationships and the way that people see me. You know, that title atheist doesn't, you know, it still just isn't, you know, it just doesn't bring along good ideas for the religious community. You know, I think one of the biggest questions, you know, is like, oh, what? So you worship the devil? And it's like, if I don't, and it's been said 100 times, if I don't believe in the devil or in God, why would I believe in the devil? So no, I wasn't raised non-religious. I definitely had a deconversion process, but once I knew that there was community, oh my goodness, I flourished and I was proud, and I came out publicly 3 years ago at Atheist Day on, you know, kind of on a national level, and that was scary. But you know, like I said, there's far worse stories out there, and there's so many, you know, again, the reason that I do it is, and continue to do it, is because there's so many people that just can't live that freely. So there's been risks, but I feel like having this community has been far more rewarding than not.
Let's see, also Anthony.
Yeah, and I know Anthony's coming back to talk to you guys. He's a longtime friend of FACT, and it's amazing to see what he's doing these days with street epistemology. So I'm glad he's coming to talk to you guys again.
Yeah,
awesome.
he comes every semester to talk to us. He's a really good friend of the group.
Yeah, Anthony's good people. He's really good people.
He has a way of creating civil discourse between such opposing ideas.
Anthony will even get you thinking. We were just talking about this on the way over there. He will even get you thinking about your own non-beliefs. So he's a genuinely good person. Any other questions? Yeah.
You like cake?
I love me some cake. I've got COVID cake body.
Mary.
Mary. I accept. I'm already married though, sorry. But yes, I love cake. Yes. Now I want cake. Let's see, I think that kind of covers everything. So if that's it, yeah, go ahead.
Does your family share your beliefs as well?
So, my side, so my husband, he was like when I found him, oh my gosh, it was him and a couple of other people that I worked with, at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is how I feel, and it's like, oh my, I am an atheist, and so he's definitely my person. But you know, he didn't know there was a community either, and so I happened to go see a talk and concert one night, and that's how I kind of found the community. But my family, so my family, not so much, but like my husband and I and my two stepkids, well, we're open about our atheism, and so like in our home, like we discuss the atheism, but we also discuss like understanding that you should really know all of the religions, you know? Like if you're gonna teach one, you need to teach them all, and I would rather my kids have access to information than sheltering them from it. So, you know, are our kids going to be atheists? I don't know. That's their journey to take. They're still very young. And I mean, they're teenagers. They're not like that young. They have minds of their own. But most of our family is still religious. So I mean, like in our home, it's a safe place, but most of our family is still religious. But you know, those are interpersonal relationships. You know, depending on how they are, sometimes it's not safe for people, but like I said, we're lucky, even though we have those differences, we can talk about it and joke about it, and still love each other at the end of the day. I know everybody doesn't have that. That's why I say that, you know, I'm lucky that I can be out this way. You know, but that speaks more to, like I said, atheism doesn't really tell you about who I am. You know, what I do, what I do care about, how I believe, and there's no law. You know, I know one thing is, you know, people are like, oh, you don't experience awe, and I'm like, on the contrary, I feel like I experience so much awe and wonder from being on this rock at this point in time, floating through the universe, the fact that we're here, the fact that we're conscious beings, when you think how vast the universe is, I mean, like, that's way more awe-inspiring to me than having a God or creator, higher deity, you know, creating just this planet for us, and I don't know, I don't know. I think science and nature is awe-inspiring enough for me, you know. And I used to be a believer, so I understand where believers come from. I was one. But there just came, that deconversion was slow at first, and then it was all of a sudden. So everybody has to kind of manage their interpersonal, you know, I know there's some out there that are, you know, like, everybody should, if you're an atheist, you should just be out, and it's not safe for everybody. You know, that's what Atheist Day is all about, you know, that was this week. You know, it's not safe for everybody to be out. So, that's why we do it. Any other questions? Okay. All right, well, that's it. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
What about the wrong way?
Okay, well, that's about it, really. I didn't plan anything else.
Let's stop the live stream.
Yeah. But, Cody, he'd gone over the PowerPoint and everything, so.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. You did?
We did the PowerPoint. I didn't start the live streaming, so you guys I can figure out how to do that.
Yeah, it's
My
okay.
laptop doesn't have only a 4 gig.
Oh.
Yeah, I just have a laptop.
Oh, mine has one.
Like, unless I wanted to pull out my phone and do it.
I know
most of
Claire
it.
says, I know that, I guess it's been encouraged, but definitely apply for the Secular Student Alliance Scholarship. There's usually at least 2 or 3 organizations that sponsor Texas scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's FACT and Oasis that I know of right now.
yeah, FACT and Oasis, and let's see,
Freedom from Religion, Black Numbers.
Yeah.
I know, but specifically for Texas students.
Yeah. There's a whole list of them
I
on
thought
there.
Freedom from Religion did last 2 years ago. Because Phil was
There
part
is
of it.
there is one from Freedom.
There is one,
Yeah,
but
there
it's
is.
not specific to Texas students.
Yeah. But like with the FACT one, that like because we're local, it's more like more likely to get it.
Yeah, exactly. Because we get all the application dump. It's all anonymous. Jackie was actually a recipient, so our board gets anonymous applications. We get a number and where you are. And we go through the applications, we pick our top, and then we have to rate them. So we rate them by, what we're looking at in the application, and then from there we go to, okay, well, where is their location? So I encourage you to apply, because, your chances of getting a Texas scholarship are actually, they're fairly decent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to see more organizations. This is our 3rd year. So our first year we sponsored one, and then some amazing donors were like, we want to help sponsor 2. So we wound up, sponsored 3 that first year.
Cool.
And it's something that we wanted to keep going. So we did one last year. We've approved another one for this year. So definitely apply.
The what now? Oh yeah. The next one is Anthony Magnabosco is coming. And we're gonna have next Friday.
Yep.
April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. But student Dr. Ben is gonna do like a virtual intro on a modified version of street epistemology and skepticism. I think I don't know. He's done a presentation for it, and then and after that, Anthony's gonna come on here in person. And then on the 22nd, Andrew Seidel will be doing a virtual presentation. So,
They're all awesome.
yeah.
Andrew's like the nicest guy. He's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
We had him, and we'll share our events. So like typically, when we get, speakers or special events, we usually, or socials really, we typically leave our third Saturday of the month. So we'll share stuff with you guys. Like, a lot of it is stuff that you guys would enjoy. I wish I could talk about it right now, but I can't. We'll share everything with you all once we have things on the calendar, but it'll be a fun year. And, you know, I didn't mention this. We run solely on donations and membership dues. And we work with other organizations that want to bring in the bigger name speakers. And so that is something that we in the past have been able to do. It looks like it's something that we'll still, even with our goals, we're still gonna be able to continue to do. So, you know, keep an eye out for that because, you know, that's kicking back up too. People are getting more comfortable with traveling and,
Can I ask, like, what are the city guest speakers, who are like the most prominent ones?
so we have had, wow, here, actually, you know, I said I would never, but I've actually, this has helped me organize so much better.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention on May 13th, we're having the call-in talk show with Truth Wanted and Objectively Dan. So he's coming here to host the show live. So we're still working the details of that out, but yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Also, hackathon is this weekend, so yeah, just stop in and say hi.
What is that?
Oh, it's a hacking competition by UTSA.
Oh yeah? Cool.
Oh, it'll be in the it's all day Saturday, Sunday. Oh, I'm on here all day with the travel.
So of course, locally we have Anthony Magnabosco and Dr. Hector Garcia, who wrote Alpha God and Sex, Power, and Partisanship.
Yeah, we wanted to have him come as a speaker probably next semester.
And he'd love it.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, Recovering from Religion, Daryl Ray has been to San Antonio a few times. Also Gail Jordan. Daryl Ray came in 2019 to go to Pride. He came during Pride weekend and came and hung out at our booth. It was a lot of fun.
So I was there at the booth manning it, and he had a something, you know, sex is a great thing, something I was
Sexy secular or something like that.
And I was like, we just had a speaker talking, and he was like, yeah, I know.
It was me.
Like, yeah, and I was like, oh, you know, have you heard of him? He was like, I'm like,
oh, because Daryl Ray got there, so she was manning the booth while Daryl Ray was speaking, and so he got to the booth, and Jackie's like, oh, we just had somebody tell you about it.
Is Daryl Ray a famous people?
Yeah, so he started Recovering from Religion. It's an amazing organization. They do support on the phone. There's also little groups. We tried to get one off the ground right before COVID. So we might see that kind of pop up again. I have to check with the organizer, but I believe I'm not sure if it's still up and running. The last time I looked at the website it was, but Secular Therapy Project. As somebody who suffers from mental health issues, it is really hard to find a therapist that is not religious. Really hard. So therapists, and whether you're just a clinical therapist or a psychologist or psychiatrist, they can go anonymously and register. So like I had one doctor that I was working with, and I was like, can you please go and register with the Secular Therapy Project so that people know that they're out, like, because when I look, I couldn't find anybody in San Antonio, and so I'm not sure what much they've done with that, but that's a great resource. Recovering from Religion, and then Foundation Beyond Belief, they're really big in like the community service and the outreach part of it, so we work with them as well. Well, I should say Bill does.
I think that also of note with Daryl Ray, he speaks to one of the things that I think is most harmful about religion, which is sexual shaming.
Oh, yes, yes, that.
That is, in hearing him talk
Sexual
about
shame.
how you have to reprogram your mind completely from how America says you should think about sex. It should be this shameful thing, it should be, you know, it should be between a man and a woman, it should be. And
Right.
he helps you break it down and sort of reprogram your mind. How you are is beautiful, it's you, and that's beautiful.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, Gail Jordan, she's with RFR too, but she actually ran for office, so she's she ran as an out atheist. So, I mean, we've had Seth Andrews, back in ye olde times when David Smalley was in Texas and just getting off the ground, he came. I mean, we've had Aaron's been, FACT has been around for a very, very, very long time in some form or another. So we've had quite a few people. That's one of the things that, you know, we are a 501c3 for education and charitable giving. So that lecture series has always been super important, whether it's Mandisa Thomas, the founder of Black Nonbelievers. She came in 2019 over MLK weekend, and that was really amazing. She is definitely somebody to watch and follow. That organization is doing some really great things. Let's see. There's so much community out there. Like, there really is. There's so many good voices that really wanna, or more that secular humanist, you know. It's good. Not that I don't have my dark side. I do listen to some funny podcasts. But so anyhow, well, what do you guys normally do after meetings? Do you guys